Now that I'm finally done moving into college, I'm finally able to start producing videos again. I still have a lot going on and I'm going to have to learn how to balance school, rail fanning, and videos. But anyway, it's time for Unpopular Railroad Opinions Part 2. I'm tentatively going to start with an opinion that could get me chased out of the rail fanning community. The CPKC merger is awesome. I've heard complaints from multiple sources containing several reasons why they don't support the CPKC merger, so here's my side of the argument. Starting off with what I think is my most poignant point, appreciate and enjoy watching what is probably the last major merger in history. The Southern Transportation Board, which is kind of like the sanctioning body for railroads, said that this will likely be the last major merger in one of their reports that came out. This merger is the last time that anyone alive today will see a major merger, so follow the process and watch it happen and document it as much as you can for what's going to be the last merger of its kind. This opportunity will almost certainly never happen again, so take some time to fully experience the spectacle of two Class 1s becoming one, and don't turn a blind eye to it because you might regret your decisions later. The last big merger was all the way back in 1995, which was almost 30 years ago. Moving on to some low-level complaints, people have said that the paint scheme looks terrible and the two previous paint schemes were much better. Before you say that, think about how much of what you're saying is bias, because you've been seeing the paint schemes for years. Everyone is used to seeing the gorgeous Kansas City Southern Belle schemes, or Canadian Pacific's various styles of vibrant red paint, and on the flip side, everyone has only seen the CPKC paint scheme for a couple months now. It's new to us, so we haven't gotten any time to get used to it and see it in person a few times or frequently see the scheme online. I say give the scheme a little bit and let it go through its iterations because they will definitely change the scheme more than once. Think of how many times BNSF changed their paint after their merger. Always remember that paint schemes are not final. Also, this is just a personal opinion, but I think the new livery looks slick. I especially love when there are two units back to back and the paint scheme completes each other on each side. It's a really cool feature that you don't see too often. Also, I appreciate that the scheme looks kinda like AWVR 767 from the movie Unstoppable. Just think of all the memes that could be made if there's a runaway CPKC train. Anyway, I hear people complaining that two great paint schemes will cease to exist and we'll live in a world without the Southern Belle schemes or CP's red schemes, but I have a strong rebuttal to that. CPKC can't paint every unit on both lines in a day. It's going to take a long time for every CP and KCS unit to get repainted. For example, BNSF still has some unpainted Burlington Northern and Santa Fe engines kicking about. Everyone has plenty of time to go out and catch the two schemes. Plus, there's a non-zero chance that CPKC will make heritage units, and I bet you one crisp dollar bill that if they do, they'll make a Southern Belle heritage unit and a heritage unit for some of CP's schemes. They'll never completely disappear. Next, I've heard some complaints that CPKC doesn't roll off the tongue very well. Well, here's my scientific test. BNSF has a very similar name to CPKC, they're both four-letter abbreviations. Pull out a stopwatch on your phone and time yourself saying BNSF and CPKC at the same speaking speed. You'll find that they take almost exactly the same amount of time to say. Also, everyone will get used to it. We all got used to BNSF, and the same will happen with CPKC. Okay, with that over, let's get to the next opinion. The new CSX heritage units are good. I want to start off by mentioning the heritage units that CSX had before these newly painted engines started coming out. Look at this locomotive and tell me where the special paint is on this engine. Zoom in more, even more, there. This tiny clump of paint is what CSX thought would be a good idea for heritage units. The entirety of the paint that makes these units special fits inside of a hula hoop. These stupid sticker units are just about the least effort you could put into making a heritage unit. These units are so terrible that when I was filming the train you're seeing now, I didn't even realize that the third unit was the Spirit of Ravenna, so I didn't point the camera at it until I saw it through my camera's display, which by then was a little too late. So every time you bad talk the new CSX heritage units, just remember that it could be way worse. Also, people have complained that they don't like how the cab is in normal paint and only the long hood has the paint. I think that the cab being the current scheme makes every one of CSX heritage units so much more unique than any other railroad. Plus, if you let me get a little abstract here, it's like the currently painted cab of the unit is being powered by the railroad that came before it, because the paint is over the engine. Current day CSX drives the railroad, and it can only move forward because of the railroads of the past that helped it move forward. Alright, that's enough CSX promotional video bullshit for right now. Next opinion. We'll do a quickie for this one. Elephant style is not an unattractive order of engines. I really don't understand the distaste for elephant style. Are you really going to let the orientation of the engines bother you like that? If anything, elephant style allows you to see the cabs of every single engine so that you can more easily see if there's any sort of special paint in the consist from far away. This argument does not apply nor pertain to any of the new CSX Heritage units due to an extreme lack of distinguishing paint on the nose. Secondly, this kinda echoes what I said in the first opinions video, but enjoy the trains you get. Don't let every engine facing the same way ruin the perfectly good video you got of the train, because after all, the style does add some variety. It would be a little stale if every consist had at least one engine facing backwards. Elephant style is a nice way to mix it up a little. And with that, I will bring this video to a close. If you're still watching, I really appreciate it. Unless you're listening to everything I say just to gather enough info on me to write a massive comment essay on all the reasons I'm wrong about the CPKC merger.